Hello everybody, my name is KingStix and today I want to talk about some interesting changes coming up in patch 8.8. And this upcoming patch is going to be centered around pro play and balancing it for the upcoming MSI tournament. So that's what we're going to be seeing a lot of. So for example, Braum, he's not necessarily that great in solo queue, but he is going to be getting a nerf on his unbreakable will, his E. The percent damage is being lowered from 30% at rank 1 down to 20% at rank 1. In the late game though, it won't matter that much because it's at 36% instead of 40%. It's pretty much just going to force Braum to max that ability even more than he used to. It's going to force Braum to max this ability first to get those percents up before he could just put one level in it and already have it at 30%, which is pretty good. But now on level 1, it's at 20% instead of 30%. Braum is also going to receive a nerf on his W. Stand behind me. On the armor and MR, it raises. It's going from 17 at level 1 all the way down to 10. At level 5, it's going to be 26 instead of 27, so another early game nerf for Braum. This will make Braum a lot more killable, especially in the pro scene. Before, he was just way too tanky, way too healthy, really safe lane pick. Even if you tried to gank him, he could tank and then dash to his 80 carry to get away. Very difficult to kill. This will peel off a little bit of his tankiness. Janna is also getting a very slight nerf. It's hardly even worth mentioning. On her base movement speed down a little bit, and the damage on her Zephyr is getting barely lowered as well. These are both two needed nerfs, but they're not nearly high enough. Irelia is getting a nerf slash buff. All in all, I do believe it is a nerf which is needed. She's getting a slight base armor increase since she doesn't have much sustain. They're also giving her Q a little bit more damage to minions from 60% to 70% to help her dash around more. What they're doing to counteract this is they're increasing the cooldown on her ultimate substantially in its earlier ranks, all the way from 120 seconds to 140 seconds, and in its final rank it's only 10 seconds more. And the missile damage is being nerfed slightly. The wall damage is also being nerfed. The missile damage itself is being nerfed very slightly, and the wall damage is getting a significant nerf, going from 125 damage at level 1 to 75, and at rank 3 275 damage all the way down to 175. I think that's really important since Irelia's ultimate's OP. It's automatic. It's just press, click, it does it all by itself. I think we can all agree that Irelia needed that nerf. Lissandra's really crappy. She's short range, not very useful, very predictable. So they're going to be lowering the mana cost on her Q and this very slight cooldown buff on her R. Not very much, only 10 seconds at earlier ranks. And at rank 3, it's still going to be at 80 seconds. I definitely don't think this is going to make Lissandra pick or ban or even viable. Ryze is getting a surprising nerf on his E. The cost is being increased from 40 mana at level 1 to 60 mana. This will make it much harder for Ryze to shove lane and then roam with his jungler. This is going to hurt Ryze really bad because he already sucks in lower elos. Sion's Q is being changed to force him to max it first. Before, it initially had 195% AD scaling ratio. Now it's going to start out at 135 and get up to 195 at rank 5. So instead of taking 1 point in your Q and maxing your E or your W, now you're forced to make a trade-off with maxing your Q first and getting the damage, or maxing your E or your W first. It's going to suck for Sion players. I don't think it's a good change because tank med is already struggling right now as it is. Vi is getting all around buffs on her kit. It's not enough to make her pick and ban, but this will help her to keep up with champions like Xin Zhao and Jarvan, who are doing her job but much better. Archangel Staff is extremely OP right now. It gives 20% cooldown reduction, heaps of mana, and heaps of ability power. So they're trying to cut off a little bit of that power. In the upcoming patch, they're going to be nerfing its scaling from 3% of your maximum mana down to 1%. This is much needed because mana scaling champions like Ryze are a little bit out of control right now if they do get a few mana items. It's very difficult to deal with any champion who can build Archangel Staff for that matter because of the 20% CDR it now gives. Graves is getting a slight buff on his HP per level. This will help keep him alive against people like Kayn and Kha'Zix in a 1v1. Graves' ultimate is also getting a decent cooldown reduction, being lowered from 120 at rank 1 all the way down to 60 at rank 3 compared to its previous 80 at rank 3. So 20 seconds off at its max rank is a pretty big deal because 60 seconds, that means it's going to be up every minute, and that's assuming he doesn't already have cooldown reduction in his kit. And Graves typically gets CDR items like a Youmuu's or a Black Cleaver. Talia is really strong in the pro scene because she can shove wave and then just ult gank. So her and her jungler, let's say they want to gank the bot, Talia shoves, she goes bot lane with her jungler, walls the enemies off so they can't run away, and then it's a 4-man dive, no counterplay. It's not surprising that we're seeing her base HP being lowered from 532 to 502. Her threaded volley as well as cooldown is being increased from 9 seconds to 11 seconds at rank 1. This is going to hurt her really bad if she wants to shove lane in the early game. Xayah's passive is going to be receiving a nerf. This is much needed because she's really OP. Secondary target damage is lowered from 50% down to 30%. which is really good because her feathers, whenever they go through, are doing too much damage. She can shove lanes way too fast if she wants it back. She can just shove it out with her passive using a few spells, or if she sees she's about to get dived, she can shove lane out real quick to save her own life. She definitely needs this nerf. The most important thing, which is the reason why I wanted to make this video, is the massive lethal tempo is getting a massive buff since it is one of the worst keystones right now. Very few champions can utilize it. Pretty much every AD carry takes fleet footwork, or on rare occasion might take press the attack. So it's not surprising lethal tempo is getting a big buff. The scaling of lethal tempo is being changed from 30% to 80% to 40% to 110%. I really hope this change goes through. If it does, it's going to make lethal tempo Twitch jungle a lot more viable, especially in the mid and late game. You're going to open up once you come out with your ulti and Q. You're going to get that attack speed uncap buff, and you're going to be shooting at around 3.5 per second. If the enemy team doesn't run out of your auto attacks, if they actually try to fight, you should be able to 1v5 as long as your team pills for you. And that is going to wrap up this new interesting changes coming soon in patch 8.8. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think these changes are needed or deserved? I'm really interested in seeing what you guys have to say. If you did enjoy this video and you want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.